Hi, friends, and welcome to Godly Play at Decatur Presbyterian Church. I'm so glad that you have joined me today. Today, we are going to visit the great family in the desert. But before we do, we are going to get ready to hear a word from God today. We are going to sing Spirit of the Living God together. And there's hand motions, and they go like this. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Melt me, mold me, fill me, use me. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. So let's sing that together. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Melt me, mold me, fill me, use me. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. I think we're ready. This is the Desert Box. So many wonderful and important things happened in the desert that it's important that we know what it is like. The desert is a very dangerous place. It's always moving, so it makes it hard to tell exactly where you are. There isn't a lot of water in the desert. And without water, you can die. Not much can grow in the desert either. And without food, you can die. During the day, the sun is so hot it can scorch your skin. And the wind blows the grains of sand around and it can sting your skin. And at night, the desert is so cold. People wear a lot of clothes in the desert to protect their skin from the sun during the day and the cool air at night. The desert is a very dangerous place, and people don't go there unless they have to. After the great flood, people began to scatter to the four corners of the earth to fill it with life again. People began to live alongside of the rivers, first in towns and then in cities. One of the most ancient and greatest cities was Ur. In Ur, the people believed that the world had many gods. There was a god for the trees, for every tree, for every rock, for every flower. There was a god for the sky, a god for the water, for the land, and for the clouds. But there was one family who believed that all of God was in every place. This family didn't know that yet, but they believed it. Abram and his wife Sarai were a part of that family. When it was time to move to a new place, they weren't sure if God would be there. and they weren't sure what this new place would be like. But they picked up their sheep and their donkeys and their tents and their many helpers, and they began their journey to Haran. Even the old people and the children came too. At night they slept in their tents, and by day they followed the great river called the Euphrates. This river also gave them and all of their animals water to drink. This journey was very long. Finally, they began to see people coming out of Haran, so they knew that they were close. They knew their journey was almost over. Sometimes Abram would walk out to the edge of the desert. He would look out at all the grains of sand and all the stars in the sky. And God would come so close to Abram, and Abram would come so close to God that Abram knew exactly what God was saying. God told Abram, "I will make you a great family. I will bless you, and you will be a blessing." Abram and Sarah did exactly what God had said, and they moved to a new city. They began their journey moving west from Haran towards the city of Canaan. They took all of their many helpers and their sheep and their donkeys and their tents. But this time they had no river to guide them, and they had no river for water. Finally, they came to Shechem. Abraham climbed up on top of a hill, and he prayed to God. Abram wanted to remember that God was in this place, and so he built an altar. And then they went on their way. Next, they came to a place near Bethel. Abram prayed to God here too. So Abram built another altar to remember that God was also in this place. God was not just here or there, but God was everywhere. Then they made their way to Hebron to make their home under the oaks of Mamre. One night, God took Abram outside to look up at the stars of the sky. God came so close to Abram, and Abram came so close to God that he knew exactly what God wanted him to do. You will become the father of a great family, and Sarah will be the mother. The members of the great family will be as many as there are stars in the sky and grains of sand in the desert. Abram laughed. He and Sarai were very old. God's promise sounded impossible, but God said to change their names anyway. Abram was to become Abraham, which means the father of many. And Sarai was to become Sarah. I wonder what part of this story you liked best. I wonder what part is the most important. I wonder if there is any part of this story that we could take out and still have all the story we need. Now it is time to work. And whatever you choose to work with today, I hope you have fun exploring the story of God. And I hope to see you again next time. Bye, friends.